Nobody's gonna know. Nobody's gonna know.
They're gonna know.
How would they know? How would they know? How would they know?
Here, in this somewhat peculiar, brick-paved habitat, we observe two males engaged in what appears to be a complex display of structural assessment. The individual in the vibrant blue plumage is meticulously gauging the dimensions of a vertical wooden support. Notice the intense focus. This is a critical stage in their shared endeavor. But the strategy takes a sudden primal turn. Abandoning any semblance of modern tools, they resort to the most fundamental implements at their disposal, their own hands. A bold, if perhaps slightly inefficient, choice. They carefully transport sections of what appears to be a protective barrier, maneuvering them with a cautious, almost reverent care. The assessment continues. The blue-shirted male, undeterred by their previous excavation efforts, returns to his initial method of measurement. One must admire his dedication to precision, even if his techniques remain unconventional. The male in blue engages in a prolonged ritual of pacing and gesturing, a seemingly solitary dance of calculation. His companion observes, perhaps awaiting further instruction or simply marveling at the stamina required for such an extended display of whatever this is. Finally, the meticulous planning gives way to action. Time passes in this strange domain. The two males unite in purpose. Amidst the geometric harshness of a brick-paved enclosure, a territory likely claimed through a complex ritual of mortgage agreements and boundary disputes, we find one of nature's most baffling spectacles, the adult human male, engaging in the ancient perilous dance of the weekend project. We are observing two distinct specimens. Our primary subject, the alpha of this particular endeavor, has chosen a vibrant, cyan blue plumage for the day's exertions. This bright coloration is perhaps an evolutionary hangover, a subconscious attempt to signal vitality and competence to any passing mates, or perhaps just the only clean shirt left in the primary nesting area. His companion, clad in the more subdued, camouflaging tones of heather gray, assumes the traditional role of the apprentice, or reluctant accomplice. The gray-plumaged male's posture suggests a passive-aggressive skepticism, a silent prayer to the cosmos that this endeavor will conclude before the afternoon. Let us turn our attention to the blue-plumaged male. He approaches a vertical wooden monolith, a post driven into the earth, standing as a defiant monument to some forgotten architectural ambition. What is he doing? He raises a single hand, extending his digits in a rigid formation. He is engaging in a primitive form of spatial calculus. It is a breathtaking display of misplaced confidence. Notice the intense, almost manic focus in his eyes. He squints, recalibrating the optic nerve, sending frantic signals to the parietal lobe of his primate brain. This is a critical stage in their shared endeavor. The gray-plumaged male watches, his silence speaking volumes. Is he impressed? Is he calculating the odds of a catastrophic structural failure? But wait, the strategy takes a sudden, primal, and frankly shocking turn. Usually an apex predator of the corrugated dirt tracks and the local hardware store parking lots, poor Guck has suffered a most humiliating fate. In a maneuver that defies both physics and common sense, this 2-ton beast of burden has found itself spectacularly beached. It is hopelessly high-centered, firmly impaled upon the very vertical wooden monolith we see before us in the frame. We observe two distinct male specimens of the species, tasked with the seemingly impossible. rescuing Guquet from its timber purgatory. Our primary subject, draped in the vibrant blue plumage of a man whose weekend has just taken a disastrous turn, approaches the scene of the crime. He stands before the wooden post, the very fulcrum upon which the mighty Hilux balances. What is his strategy for freeing a trapped vehicular leviathan? In a breathtaking display of misplaced primate confidence, he is attempting to calculate the clearance between the post and Guquet's trapped undercarriage using nothing but the evolutionary inheritance of his fingers. The precise nature of their project remains a mystery, but one cannot help but be fascinated by the intricate and sometimes bewildering behavior of these two remarkable creatures. He squints, visualizing the immense geometric challenge of lifting and pulling a beach Toyota off a stump, relying entirely on a guesstimate measured in knuckles. It is a bold, if entirely futile, first step in the recovery operation. Finally, the abstract planning gives way to tangible action. The two males unite in singular purpose, migrating toward the perimeter of their territory. He raises a single hand. He extends his digits in a rigid formation. The answer arrives not with a dramatic snap of victory, but with a pathetic, wheel-hopping shudder. The tires lose their battle with friction, spinning uselessly in a shrill screech before the engine abruptly stalls. The Hilux falls silent. The strap sags, limp and utterly defeated. The post, it seems, possesses roots that extend to the very molten core of the earth. It hasn't shifted a single millimeter. It stands proudly, a vertical monument to man's chronic underestimation of concrete footings. The blue-shirted male steps down from the vehicle, surveying the battlefield. He nudges the immovable timber with a bewildered toe, as if questioning its legal right to defy a four-wheel drive. The great extraction has failed. For now, in this brutal concrete wilderness, the wooden monolith reigns supreme, leaving our intrepid engineers to ponder the harsh realities of leverage. We witness a regression of millions of years in the blink of an eye. Abandoning the vertical assessment, the two males descend to the earth. They crouch near the base of the wooden post where the brickwork meets the unforgiving soil. Have they discovered a tool, a trowel, a humble spade? They have not. In a staggering rejection of human ingenuity, they resort to the most fundamental implements at their disposal, their own bare hands. They begin to tear at the earth and the foundational sand like desperate badgers. The blue-plumaged male, a moment ago a self-styled architect, is now a frantic burrowing mammal. It is a bold, if perhaps spectacularly inefficient, choice.